Hey guys, so today is day 2 of protein synthesis. Before we go any further, I have a couple of announcements, and these are big announcements that I just learned yesterday and I want to keep you in the loop for. So, yikes, your STAR exam, make sure you're correcting this on your paper, is actually going to be May 9th. That means that your Algebra 1 test is going to be May 8th. Okay? Alright, now if you take, so I'm just going to cross this out. If you take AP Spanish and Algebra 1, you will be taking Algebra 1 early on either, well, you may take it earlier on the 7th, or you may take it on the 10th. They haven't decided that yet. I'll let you know when they do. So I'm going to fix your calendar. Make sure you're fixing it too. So May 8th is either you're taking Algebra 1 or you're taking AP Spanish. Okay, on May 9th, this is your biology STAR. If you're in AP Spanish and in Algebra 1, you're either going to take Algebra 1 early on the 7th or you'll take it later on the 10th. I'll let you know when they figure that out. Alright, so I need you to flip your page so we get to protein synthesis. Alright, the goal of today is simply to give you as much time to practice on these multiple choice questions. So I'm just going to run through. I might give you a couple of hints for these questions, but I won't tell you the answer for some of them. Alright, when we see this codon chart, so I'm going to give you hints for this one. We read this from the inside out. So that means I'll do A. AAA is the only code for lysine. Well, to figure that out, I would start with A, then A, then A. Okay? We see if it's the only code for lysine. We'll know there's another codon that could give us lysine, so this would be false. That's your hint for number 1. For number 2. Okay, in organisms, traits are just proteins, are largely determined by the genetic makeup, so it's DNA, RNA, of its parents. A mutation, which is just a change in DNA, in which kind of cells in a parent could cause a new trait to appear in the parent's offspring. Alright, so offspring, remember, means child. I'm going to take this opportunity to review what a mutation is. Alright, so there are 2 types of mutations. There's frame shift, and there's substitution. Oh, and there's point mutation, sorry. Okay, frame shift is when it shifts the entire frame. So I'm either inserting, so I'm adding a base, this nitrogenous base, or I am deleting one. So I'm basically changing the length of my sequence. A point mutation is like substitution. So substitution is like 1 for 1. An example for this would be a nonsense mutation where that substitution creates a stop codon. So that's your hint and review of mutation. Flip your page. Alright, question 3. Which of the following is the primary reason for selective breeding? So I'm just going to give you an example of what selective breeding is. It's just picking certain traits. So I'm going to give you 2 examples. So one would be like purebred dogs. So I'm picking certain traits of dogs and I'm breeding them together, so I'm getting that specific traits. The other example I'm going to give you is a little bit darker, and that's the Holocaust. So Hitler decided that blonde hair and blue-eyed were the most favorable traits, so he killed off everybody else, so all he would be left with were blonde hair, blue-eyed people, because he thought that was the most favorable. Oh, I almost put blonde eye. Blonde hair, blue eye. Alright, that's your hint for number 3. You'll have to think through the answer choices. And finally, number 4. So a DNA strand is undergoing replication. Replication, remember, is copy. And this means that you're going DNA to DNA. So complementary is just how bases pair. I'm going to give you just a hint between replication and transcription so you don't get confused. Okay, so replication is DNA to DNA, and my pairings are A to T, G to C. In transcription, you're going DNA to mRNA, and my pairings are A to U, G to C, because remember, RNA doesn't have any thymine. So I want you to use all of these hints that I've given you to go back and answer questions 1 through 4, and then you are going to keep going through this packet to do as many as possible. Your job is to get the whole thing done. All right, have fun.